I'm a cowboy. On a steel horse I ride. I'm wanted, wanted, dead or alive. I don't think that's how guitar strings work, but not an expert in music. I'm just a dude. And I'm a dude here to bring you episode number 305 of the SkyLounge podcast, ballads and songs of the old gunslinger Kyle Rittenhouse, untitled rant. Howdy. Still alive and annoying. That's the way to describe me, not Kyle Rittenhouse. That dude's a fucking patriot. All right? And, way to start off controversial. That's not controversial, asshole. The only real, I guess, problem with Kyle Rittenhouse was that he was underage. That's about it, right? But I don't expect the morons who are arguing that Kyle Rittenhouse is a terrorist really have any slight idea how reality, logic, common sense, any of that shit works. Because you're the stupid ass motherfuckers who are sucking off these goddamn Democratic politicians. But look, it's not just the Democrats. Well, generally speaking, what we have seen over the last few months, specifically in the year 2020, what we have seen over the last few months is governors are becoming tyrannical dicks. Not dictators, just dicks. All right? So when you got guys, and you could call them women, but they're just bratty cunts for all I care. When you got governors like Gavin Newsom, Lori Lightfoot, Gretchen Whitmer, Steve Sisolak, Andrew Cuomo, and every other Democrat scums who try to play overlord, it's actually sickening to see. And we just passed over this whole fucking Thanksgiving weekend debacle all over the country. And you observe what's been going on, right? These lockdowns, re-lockdowns. All it is a form of government control. And I know a lot of times when the word control, PSYOP, psychological operations, in terms of psychological warfare, that's what the government generally excels at. But when you express words within these confines and within these contexts, a lot of times people will just easily dismiss this as conspiracy theory. But motherfucker, when all the goddamn shit is lining up in front of your very eyes, and you are seeing shit happen right then and there, how do you call that conspiracy theory now? The way mainstream media has really catapulted their way into full-blown 1984 censorship is now they use buzzwords. Okay, they use buzzwords to generate and elicit feelings of hatred, fear, and because of that, you have all these fucking idiotic NPC, quote-unquote, woke mobs who decide it's okay to shit on somebody who, I'm going to be honest, man. You could give a substantial argument, you could give a logical argument, but if it doesn't fall into the narrative of, where do we get started with the fucking liberals, man? What fucking check marks do you have to get through? The diversity fucking check line, the goddamn gender check line. You have to make sure that you have to fucking toss out the whole proclamation that there's only two genders. Because biologically speaking, there's only two. And we get into this constant cycle of falling into the narrative instead of falling into the statistics and the actual context and the actual action of what's been going on. And of course, this isn't just politics. This is any fucking thing. I mean, you go into the realm of sports, man. Jesus Christ, this tribalistic, retarded mindset stems from sports. It straight up stems from sports. And I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a retarded sports fan. I'm not going to lie about that. Listen, I'm rocking a goddamn Dodgers gear right now. Okay. I know how much of an emotional retard I am when it comes to the Dodgers. I mean, I'm fucking talking people's ears off about this 2020 World Series nonstop every fucking day if I can to anybody who's willing to listen. But that's just an overly emotional bullshit that I'm going through because at the end of the day, I mean, it's one ring, right? There's still another season, and this is why sports is the greatest meritocracy. Every season, nothing is guaranteed, and you just battle for it within the set parameters that you got. But oftentimes, people tend to overlook accomplishments, and in other cases, failures, because of their either inherent biases, which everyone has. But, you know, if you can try to relax that a little bit and really, in a way, it starts with empathy, but not in the emotional sense, but more along the lines of understanding perception, right? Understanding the other perspective. And that comes in the form of listening and reading, which a lot of you motherfuckers clearly failed in high school, middle school, elementary, whatever fucking level of education that you clearly skidded at. You motherfuckers don't have that shit. You don't have listening comprehension. You don't have reading comprehension. Hell, I'm the goddamn immigrant who came to this country who didn't know a lick of English. And now I read and write and fucking listen better than any goddamn citizen in the United States right now. And I would say more than half. Is that a bit of arrogance on me? Probably, because I might be overestimating that number a little bit. And that's the fucking little gray area that you have to give yourself, that you might be wrong. You might be, not fully in the right. But what the fuck does that have to do with politics? What the fuck does that have to do with anything, son? Why are you going on this insane tangent fucking drawn ramble right now? What's been going on over the last few months has been really interesting to watch. Obviously, as somebody who can't vote because, again, DACA, I find it curious that everybody is completely dismissing both sides' argument. Now, I'm going to try to sum this up the best I can in, I guess, a very digestible and palpable form, I suppose. So, you have the left just inherently stuck in their ways of just listening to mainstream media, listening to the narratives, the following the wavelengths of the emotions of what's going on. And because majority of media has called it, a lot of people think Joe Biden has won. And the argument on that side right now is that what Trump is doing with his whole quote unquote shenanigans in the court, his whole push, being constantly rejected in Pennsylvania, from state to federal, and now that's going to go to the Supreme Court. It's evidence from their perspective that all this is a ruse, that Biden is the clear winner, which you're allowed in that belief, sure. But when ample amounts of evidence, when hundreds of signed affidavits, which, by the way, if you sign an affidavit, right, and I could be wrong, lawyers, so correct me on this shit. If you sign a fucking affidavit and you lie, right, perjury, you're fucked. You're going to jail, okay? Can we get that through your fucking heads? I'm no legal expert. I'm just saying, if you fucking lie in a court document, you are fucked. Okay? So when you got hundreds of these affidavits, when you got thousands of videos on social media that just retweeted and going all over, when you have irregularities in number spikes, 3:42 in the morning in Michigan, there is a sudden spike and it's so curious because I was 1:41 in the morning in Las Vegas, and I was kind of just perusing through, and then there's this whole thing on 4chan. Yes, motherfuckers, I'm that motherfucker who goes to 4chan because Reddit is full of goddamn retarded shills I can't stand, and I'm still suspended on Twitter. Follow me at Parler, kids, at the SCY Lounge. But going on 4chan, you start reading into this shit and people offering up hyperlinks to actual county websites where the number starts spiking randomly when the polls are supposed to be closed. So when you got all these things lined up, when you got all these little circumstances influencing what's happening, like, don't you think it's a little bit suspect? Or no? You motherfuckers call that conspiracy theory, which is a lot of shit. And it's not that I don't feel bad. I mean, I was that person. I'm not going to hide that shit. 2016, kids, look it up. At the SoundCloud, any of the shit I posted in 2016, very liberal mindset. Very slave-like mindset, kids. I don't blame myself. That's just how I was. But people change. People grow. And all that to just kind of, I guess, kind of clear out what I've been feeling emotionally, just as an observer, that you liberals are wrong. You liberals are so goddamn dead wrong. And the way the courts are set up right now, and again, if I'm wrong, I'm going to be wrong. And I'm going to look that shit up. More than likely, after this podcast, I'm going to look up a couple of things regarding the Supreme Court and how certain cases are handled and et cetera in terms of election discrepancies, and in this case, election fraud. But it's so ridiculous. I mean, this is exactly the whole fucking spiel I went about with the Houston Asterisks and the liberals right now, where you have, dude, I keep fucking like lighting this shit up and it just keeps going out and it is annoying the fuck out of me. Being a very inefficient, impractical stoner right now. Again, forgetting my place, which will happen when you smoke weed, kids. I won't say don't smoke, but just take precaution. Be easy about it. But a lot of times people don't really take precaution in terms of critical thinking. And I don't think that's an understatement anymore. When you look around in 2020 and you see all the garbage that's popping out in Twitter and other forms of social media, and you think, wow, these are the virtue signaling assholes that I have to like sympathize and empathize with. Like, get the fuck out of here, man. You same assholes who will shout science, reason, logic, but when clear data number is given to you, you completely deny it. Again, the epiphany came to me that I was talking about the Houston Astros. The Houston Astros fans are exactly like the fucking liberals right now. We didn't cheat. You have no evidence that we cheated. We didn't cheat. We didn't cheat. You're making this shit up. We didn't cheat. We didn't cheat. Yep. Circumstances surrounding the club. General managers being fired. Detailed reports coming out of the technologies involved. The players not named. The level, how much they were invested into this idea of cheating. And then you still vehemently deny it. Oh, because the commissioner, yeah, because he said everything was right? No. It's utterly ridiculous. But Thug, in that analogy, doesn't that mean that Rob Manfred is going to be like at the certification of the election board and like, that look like Biden won? No. In my mind, Manfred acts more along the lines of mainstream media. And honestly, it's kind of pathetic to watch all you fucking slaves just buy into this narrative that Joe Biden won. Utterly ridiculous. You got all this election fraud going on. No one fucking bats an eye. Especially you goddamn slaves. No one bats a fucking eye. And no one gets amped or riled up when they send 15 fucking FBI agents to look up Bubba Wallace, Jussie Smollett Part 2. but you can't send like 3 fucking agents to a goddamn place in Detroit where the voting fraud has been insane. Like, are you serious? This is why I don't take you liberals seriously, man. Because you liberals really just try to hype yourself off of nothing, of no substance. I mean, you're the same motherfuckers who will cheer for a movie that is full of diversity. Wow. This movie has a black lead. This movie fills a certain quota of Asians. This movie is just so good because it's all people of color. But what happens when the movie isn't written well? What happens when the movie's production value is absolute garbage because the producers didn't give a fuck after, oh, cool. Diversity quota check. Awesome. You end up with what you have now in Hollywood. A bunch of fucking hollow crap. And you know, in a way, this pandemic really showed that movies are dead. Movies are fucking dead. Oh, but the Marvel theories are still alive. Shut the fuck up, man. China owns most of that fucking, the gross revenue on that shit. Have you looked up the goddamn box office mojo numbers ever? No. Because most of you motherfuckers don't look at numbers. Ah, look at that. Isn't that crazy? You just gobble all that shit up and say it's good. It's the same fucking idiots who keep telling me that, hey, I could eat McDonald's every day. Why? Why would you eat McDonald's every day? That shit is gross. Like, McDonald's is fucking great if you're 5 shots of whiskeys in, right? And I don't know, you're feeling overly emotional that night. You probably texted 2 or 3 people that you really shouldn't have. And then all of a sudden you're like, well, I do have a little bit of money in the bank. Yeah, Uber Eats is still around. So we just get a goddamn Big Mac pack. You know, pack that up with 2 Big Macs, 2 big old fries, and 20 McNuggets. You know, add to the fucking levels of diabetes and potential heart problems. But look at that. Remedy for being a gross piece of shit. That's what McDonald's is for, motherfuckers. But no, you want to make it a meal? Oh, it's a restaurant now. Oh my God. Same goddamn branch of dipshits, man. You guys think I'm over exaggerating, but honestly, it is the same group of fucking people. It's the same kind of thought process where it's just one-dimensional shallow thinking, one-dimensional shallow actions. And yeah, I mean, honestly, there's a lot of times where you go through internet discourse and the common mindset should be, don't say shit to rile people up, or don't say anything, don't say anything if you don't have anything good to say. But the problem is, I mean, when the world is so full of fucking retards who don't make any goddamn sense, you gotta call shit out once in a while. You do. And yeah, I mean, I get my fair share of faux pas out there here and there, and I'm not gonna lie about that, man. I have terrible takes anywhere, in any aspect of life. What was a terrible take I had about sports? The Washington Nationals would never win a goddamn World Series. Yeah, it shows you how much I fucking know. Because they fucking ripped our heart out, just with the fucking beating heart, eating that shit up in front of the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium in Game 5 of the NLDS in 2019. And yeah, they went on to win the World Series, beating the cheating Astros. Appreciate you goddamn Nationals, but it's an interesting time to be I suppose, just emotionally displaced observer. Mainly because now I don't try to care as much. Only things I can only have control over, right? I mean, things that I do, like this shit. But mostly, you look at things now, the way things are. Let's bring it to politics. I mean, currently, by mainstream media's account, Joe Biden is the projected winner, despite all of the discrepancies, despite all of the potential voter fraud, they are going that route. And you see the clear lines dividing in the world of politics. And you see that, I mean, if you're not a brainless fucking twat, that Trump actually won. But there's no evidence of that. Oh my God, dude. What the fuck have we just talked about for like 20 fucking minutes? Huh? Nothing, I suppose. I suppose nothing, in a way. Because again, I mean, all of this calls for people to be able to listen and understand other perspectives, but that doesn't really happen nowadays in common discourse. But what I see now is President Trump gaining the upper hand, really, a lot of upper momentum in the courts, and I think public opinion. A lot of these shills that are hoping for Joe Biden, you just begin to wonder, like, are you really rooting for Joe Biden and his insanely ridiculous policies that calls for just the absolute worst that American can be? I mean, conforming into this kind of socialistic, egalitarian, I suppose, mindset society, which we definitely don't want to fucking do that. But do you motherfuckers truly think that's the right way to go? Is it egalitarian or, I suppose, like a real black-white in terms of rich and poor? But anyways. Do you motherfuckers really buy into that shit, or are you just anti-Trumpers? Anyone but Trump. Which is the dumbest fucking mentality to have. If you are a voter, okay, and if you can read, you shouldn't think like that. You should think like this. Hey, whose policy works for me? Whose policy, and if you want to go beyond yourself because you're already well taken care of, like some of the rich cats out here in the United States, if you can look beyond that, then you ask, what policies can better my community? I know I'm talking rocket science here, motherfuckers. All right, and I know the whole shit will be thrown at you, but you're a non-voter. You're a DACA fuck motherfucker. What the fuck do aliens know about goddamn U.S. politics? Apparently a lot more than you motherfuckers do. Because guess what, motherfucker? Kind of like Venom. I'm a symbiote. All right? I will take over the host body, and I will just be better than you. You give me enough time. You give me enough fucking information. I will be better than you. Is that an ego thing? A little bit. But it's also based on what I have done, based on what I know about myself. And guess what? Throughout the years of just observing and having just a foundational knowledge from high school of just being kind of a fascist dick and barely paying attention in AP government class, I could at least expand my mind to this level, which I don't think is that high. But good God, people. Just elevate yourself by this much and see how much of a difference that shit is. Okay? Keep telling me that, but Biden won't wait. Trump's a fascist. He's a dictator. He doesn't want to leave. No, he doesn't want to leave because there is huge fucking illegality issues here. Okay? And again, the premise is this. If you allow a cheating election like this to go, what's to stop the next one? What's to stop the one from that? The whole idea of the United States fall after that. And I hear a lot of you motherfuckers say, oh, but it's already rigged. It's already been. This is why I think Trump is the greatest, because he is truly shaking up the status quo of typical Republican and Democrat. And I am of the belief that President Trump is going to be the first president to destroy the bilateral party system. I hope that's the case, because both Republicans and Democrats are fucking useless. I've said that multiple times. Conservatives and libtards. You're both fucking useless. And I have seen it throughout the last few weeks. Conservatives are fucking groups of, I don't know, complacent pussies. And liberals are emotionally riled up twats who get their fucking mutilated dicks hard, wet, just percolating because some crazy shit happens to people who support Trump. I don't fucking understand that shit. But for me, Trump is veering in this direction that will garner hate. That will garner hate from the old establishment because this isn't what they want. What the old establishment wants, regardless of if you're Republican or Democrat, let me just make this very fucking clear. Elitist pieces of shit, legacy politicians, okay? And even these new age politicians like Ilhan Omar and AOC, these cunt nuggets, these motherfuckers are elitists. These motherfuckers want to be up top and will fucking step all over you to stay there. Okay? But Trump, what's he doing? None of that shit. Maybe from a certain perspective, you might feel like you're slighted. But generally speaking, on his actions, not his words, on his actions, on his policies over the last 4 years, have we really been stepped on by Trump? I would say no. I would say in this pandemic specifically, in this time in 2020, we have seen how many tyrannical cunt politicians there truly are. The lockdown policy speaks for itself. The lockdowns really speak for itself. Places like California, places like Nevada, places like Oregon, places like Washington, any of these fucking West Coast places, yeah, perfectly in tune for that. New York, Pennsylvania, I mean, it's absolutely ludicrous. Legacy politicians. You know, these are the politicians that you read up on in Batman comic books. You know, the cuntbags who are, you know, counting the money right in front of the police chief and giving them a few $1,000 and saying, hey, I want you to fucking take care of my, you know, date rape victim and do all this other shit for me. Yeah, that's how fucking elitist politicians in this country work. And guess what? They hate Trump because he's totally against that shit. Yeah, he is destroying this establishment bit by bit, and you insanely idiotic motherfuckers are going against him. Bugs me the fuck out. But in my mind, I see Trump as the winner. I see Trump as not just the election winner, but as in terms of mentality, in terms of how he acts as a person, a leader. He is a winner. And this whole situation reminds me of Game 7 of the NBA Western Conference Final in 2000. And the LA Lakers were taking on the Portland Trail Blazers, who gained a lot of momentum in the previous games where the Lakers were supposed to be this behemoth favorites. The Scottie Pippen and the gang in Portland, you know, nutted the fuck up and rattled the fucking Lakers' cages a little bit. Well, here they are, the Lakers in the fourth quarter, making a roaring comeback down double digits. And they go on to win. And break the curse of, 11 years not having a ring. People doubted the Lakers at that moment. They did. It's the same thing with President Trump right now. Lots of people doubting. But if you can get your head out of your fucking ass and plug your ears out of mainstream media and maybe do yourself some favor and look into the numbers, maybe actually look into what the court cases are saying, you'll understand that, oh boy, liberals are in for a very, very rude awakening in 2021. Hopefully by Christmas. And I know most of you motherfuckers don't believe in that shit. And, you know, I don't celebrate Christmas personally. But, hey, if anybody else does, I'm okay with that. I still say Happy Christmas and all that shit. But I hope that's the case. That'll be nice. And you know what? All I can tell you is just think a little bit. Right? Just think a little bit before you do shit. I know for BLM rioters and Antifa sympathizers. I know that process is very difficult, but try. And ultimately, kids, wear a condom. Otherwise, you're going to get children who goes to college, joins Antifa, and talks about white slavery and all that shit. So fucking dumb. And they'll fucking major in women's studies and talks about like how the goddamn world is so corrupt, full of men. Like, shut the fuck up. You chose women's studies, dumb fuck. All right. So that does it for episode number 305. On the next episode of the Sky Lounge, we'll do some piggy skin picks. Now, it's been weird because I've been procrastinating the piggy skin picks for, forever. So we're going to just group these up and I'm going to try to get these out as consistently as I can. And I know I haven't been doing that over the last few months. So be on the lookout, though. Be on the lookout, though, for this disgusting mug and the, I suppose, vomit words that can come out at times. It's cancer, but sometimes that's the best entertainment you can get. So, all right, motherfuckers. I appreciate you dropping by this episode. Follow me at The Sky Lounge on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Google Podcasts. And also check out The Sky Lounge on YouTube, Parler, Instagram, and Facebook. And until next time, kids, fuck off.